researcher.
And I'm Judy, the athlete, and we're here to help you better your best.
Pressure is always an interesting topic. You know, we love it, of course, in athletic competition. And pressure, as we know from the research, can either improve performance. Some of those players, they don't perform anywhere near their best until they get into the tournament, okay? And it can go the other way. And so kind of, I believe our take on it is that if you practice with pressure, then it's going to train you or teach you to improve with pressure and go in the direction we like instead of the opposite.
And it's interesting when we think about pressure, right? A lot of times, well, how do I shoot with pressure, or how do I put pressure into my practice? And when we were talking about it earlier, it's sort of like you can program the pressure beforehand, before
Correct.
the task, and you can create the pressure situation.
Right.
Or in some cases, you can use consequences to create the pressure situation.
Yeah, if I don't do this or this doesn't happen, then you have
Which
consequences.
kind of manages expectations quite a bit, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. So we want to differentiate expectations and pressure. We're attempting to build pressure performers. Okay, it's expectations that don't help players. Therefore, we can use expectations to train pressure, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What are some of the other things you do, Judy? Because I'm sure, you know, the more ideas we can get out there, our athletes can figure it out, and our instructors and coaches probably have a lot of their own.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good ideas for how you increase pressure. The obvious one is time, right? Give you less time to do it so that you have to get into your routine faster and you can't sort of get too comfortable.
And that one can improve performance very quickly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one. I think another one that I really like is something that has to do, you always hear it like, can I hit the gold 30 times in a row? Or can I make so many free throws in a row? And maybe the consequence is I get 25, I miss, I got to start over.
Right.
So by the end of that whole exercise, I might have had to shoot 120 free throws in order to get 30 in a row.
Right.
Or I might have had to shoot X number of arrows to get 30 in a row in my margin of success.
Right. So the in a row is one aspect of scoring. Another one would be for us to set out 10 balls, and that's all you get, okay? And how many of those 10 can you hit the green with? Instead of just hitting until I get 10, that's not enough pressure. So it's a score goal that you're going after, and you have a limited number of shots.
I think one of the ones we do is, you know, arrows, you usually get them by the dozen. So if I have a dozen arrows, I have 12 arrows. I shoot 12 arrows, and then I defined my margin of success. Maybe it was the gold, the yellow, or the middle. And so every arrow that's in the yellow, I leave it. I pull the other ones and I walk back. And you may find that what I'm looking for is how many ends will it take me? How many times of shooting will it take me to get them all in that margin of success? And what's interesting is you can come down to that last arrow, and shooting 70 meters, you shoot that one arrow. If it's out, you just walked 140 meters to shoot it again, and then 140 meters. Trust me, it is a pressure and
consequence too.
Yeah, and I've had kids sometimes that they just can't. They stop before they can get it done because they're just done.
Right.
You know?
And personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with setting up those challenging tasks. You know, we do it all the time with players, and that maybe they don't achieve this time, but I'll tell you, they'll come back and they're going to achieve it.
They get to think about it for a while, right?
Yeah, a good one we've mentioned before is last ball. For us, we pull over that last one or last shot, and you don't get any more no matter what because you want to leave on a good one. That's an important one. You can do, of course, a lot with imagery. You know, you can imagine scenarios.
First tee at a major tournament, or first end of a major tournament in golf.
Right.
I mean, in archery.
You can imagine the people that tend to throw you off a little bit, whether it's parents, sometimes they're watching, you put them right next to you, the coach is right there, an instructor, another athlete that you want to perform well in front of for whatever reason. So imagery is a really strong one that can make a difference.
Well, it doesn't even have to be imagery. You could physically put those people there
Correct.
and have them. I want you to watch this shot. I want you to watch this archer do the shot. Sometimes their peers can add more
Mhm.
pressure than anything. Sometimes another coach, somebody that they really want to do it right for,
Yeah.
adds a lot of pressure.
Yes, you have a great one that you do. I always call it you compete against the phone, but you pull up scores, right?
Yeah, I pull up real scores from real matches, maybe in the last 6 months, with the names attached of who shot those scores. And then I sort of manipulate them in a little blind thing so that they can't see the whole score. They just pull up each end, they know what they shot, and now they know how they're doing in that match. And that's real because they know they're going to be shooting against that person. And the skill of the person they're shooting against is important. Not that it's always a better skilled person, but a lot of times your first match is against somebody who's lesser skilled,
Excellent point.
and you don't take
You're
it seriously, or you
expected
don't
to
get the
beat 'em.
right focus right, and so you lose to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important too, that
Yeah.
you're practicing that kind of pressure, because trust me, they feel it. They know I should beat this person, and that creates a whole different scenario of pressure.
And we do trash talk. We from the outside that's easy for us to do, but the athlete can do it themselves. I've had lots of times where here, this is your script, all negative. This is what's going through your head. You walk up, you get everything ready, and who wants to do that? Nobody. But does it happen out there in the real world? It certainly can. It's their script. It's what they hear all the time. Okay, now we're going to switch it. Now you're going to do positive walking up. And then you can even do neutral. Just count all the way through walking up and look and see what it does to your performance. And lots of times, from our trash talk, the negative is the one that just fires them up and they perform unbelievably well. And so you can use all of these things. I have to check.
I think
my
that,
list.
the other one that you said that I really like is that at some point, not at the end of your practice, but maybe in the middle of your practice, you put the scenario out there that says, here's 3 balls, and I'm going to hit the green with all 3, and if I don't, I'm done and I'm going home. And I'm going to tell you, the elite athletes that we work with, they would not be wanting to cut their practice short.
Even the kids, the little kids, they're out there. They came to play today and practice and have
Right.
fun.
Like-
And that's the worst, when you take it away from them. And it could be you just go do something else for a while or work on a different aspect, but it is very powerful. And these little things put enough pressure on, I think, in order to teach them the skills inside and to get the confidence that they can handle anything.
Sure, and you can create your consequences.
Correct.
So whatever type activity you're doing, you can always add consequences to it.
Mhm. So we strongly encourage you practice with pressure. The more you do it, the more you'll train yourself to perform better in those conditions.
And better your best.
Mhm.